So 800 years ago, what navigational techniques were used to sail the Pacific?
Well, I would say they probably were sailing in a general direction with the wind, because you don't really have much choice. So really you're basically going maybe 10 or 20 degrees either side of downwind. And the winds vary every day, and so they are more consistent in the trade wind periods. But you can't just decide I'm going to go off in this direction. You have to basically navigate your way there if you weren't going to go downwind. So the sails really were designed to just push the boat along, and the currents are travelling with the wind. So the currents are generated by those winds. So the currents, which are not insignificant, are also pushing the boat along in the same direction. To be able to navigate with a star map, first of all, is where are these star maps, and how do you communicate something without a written language that gives you enough accuracy to be able to say, go to Rapa Nui, or even Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is pretty small. To be able to sail from Tahiti to New Zealand, somehow that information's got to be communicated. So to have that communicated to you, you've got to be able to go from New Zealand back to Tahiti and tell somebody. So my question is, how did they do that when I don't think they could sail back that way? So they got to Tahiti, and the Cook Islands, probably going through the Northern Hemisphere, but to then discover New Zealand and then go back there is, to communicate that star map or this information, you've got to be able to carry it back. So basically these people probably left Tahiti for all sorts of various reasons. And this is, what are the motivations for leaving? They would be basically travelling downwind, looking for land as they went.
And the number of islands between Polynesia and New Zealand are very few.
Very few, yes, yeah.
So
the oceans, until you get out in a boat and sail around for a few weeks, which some of these voyages, by the way, are about 4 weeks, it can be. The ocean is absolutely massive and the land masses are tiny. I think that's...
So standing in a small yacht or a waka, your vision of the horizon and ability to see land will be quite limited.
Yes. One of the issues with Polynesia is most of the Polynesian islands are extremely low lying. And with the curvature of the earth, you can't see very far. Like if you're in the middle of the ocean and you see a big ocean-going ship, like a big oil tanker, come your way, when it's more than about 12 to 15 nautical miles away, you cannot see that boat. You can't see another sailboat when it's only a few nautical miles away because it's around the curvature of the earth. So it's very difficult to observe things. So even if you want to look at an island and base it on its clouds, the cloud layer, you're still basically limited on the distance that you can see. You have to be quite close to somewhere to be able to see it.
So how about the notion for navigation purposes of following bird paths or currents? Would you like to comment on that?
Well, currents are easy to follow. I mean, you basically, if you're sailing downwind, which most 99% of navigators do, all the great circumnavigators, like Magellan and Cook and all these people, all sail downwind. They all sail downwind for a reason, and that's because it's doable. And the currents take you, and the currents go because that's where the wind's blowing. So the currents are set up by the winds. So birds, to follow a bird is extremely difficult. In fact, my experience was the opposite, that birds follow you. So we had a lot of birds would follow the boat for maybe up to a week at a time, where the bird would just fly behind the boat, following us, and fly off every now and again and get some fish. Migrating birds, though, fly at much higher speeds than your sailing boat. So whilst you might see a migrating bird you'd only see it for a very short period and then it's gone on to its destination.